Good morning. Happy Monday. We've made it to another week. I'm Nicole Traum here for Lee Health's Healthcare Heroes Self-Care Moment. And this week our theme is about moving from fear towards love. And I know that sounds a little hokey, a little bit, right? But I think it's really easy right now to kind of like be stuck in that fearful place. And the most important thing we can do when we experience these uncomfortable situations, these fears, all these things, is not to just push them away, but it is to acknowledge them. So I want to start this morning by just taking a moment to acknowledge that there's a lot of things that stink right now, right? There's a lot of things that are uncomfortable or awkward. We're dealing with things like grief, pain, just disruption of our schedule, and knowing that really does feel, you start to feel that fear kind of like pulling up in your body. Yeah. And so what happens is over time, when we experience fear, we just kind of go into that reactionary mode. We've all heard the term flight or fight, and I wanted to add that sometimes it's fight or flight or hide, right? And so we've tried, maybe some of us have tried to like stay hiding under your covers or ignore some of the things around us. So it is important to acknowledge these things and then realize how you're reacting. So maybe we're reacting in a physical sense in our bodies or in a mental sense in our brains. And so we get to be able to kind of acknowledge those things as we develop our mindfulness and then create ways of finding balance. In our physical body, when we experience anxiety or stress or distress, there's this energy that kind of moves up, and you'll think of it like you're driving along in your car, and like a squirrel runs out in front of your car, and you slam on the brakes, and you feel that pulling up. You might even feel it in your hips, right? Especially in that space of your hips. And so over time, we kind of get used to that, and it just becomes part of how we live. But really, it's hitting our nervous system constantly. So our practice of being mindful and being a little bit more careful with ourselves is knowing when we're experiencing that, and then finding ways to bring that energy down as well. There are times when we want the energy to come up, but we want it to be balanced out with that downward energy as well. So just like we inhale and we exhale, we want to find that balance. So you'll notice I have my camera kind of turned over to the side a little bit because we're going to do some standing poses and some forward folds today. I wanted to try to not move it, so make sure you have a little bit of room around you. And we'll just start here with a little bit of breath. So noticing your inhale and noticing your exhale. You can let your shoulders move onto your back. Feel your spine nice and tall. And just kind of notice how your body feels this morning. Maybe you can feel those places of fear or distress. A lot of times they manifest in the place of our hips or our belly, sometimes in the shoulders, or maybe even in your jaw. So just take a moment to notice. There's nothing you need to do. Just notice what it feels like. You can close or soften your eyes and just start to become a little bit more aware of what that fear feels like in your body. And then start to bring your breath in a little bit deeper. So just notice your inhale and notice your exhale. Feel yourself filling up with breath as you inhale. So feel your belly filling up, and then empty it back out. Every inhale, feel yourself filling up. Every exhale, emptying out, feeling yourself grounding down a little bit. When we have a lot of that upward energy, then we do a lot more of an inhale, right? When we let ourselves have that grounding, that downward energy, our exhale elongates. So we can do that on our own without really forcing it. Just noticing your inhale and noticing your exhale and finding that balance in your own internal energy. Take a few moments here to notice the breath, maybe to feel your seat grounding down, feel your feet gently placed on the ground, on the floor. And then from that place, you can start to rise up, feel your spine lengthen. Feel your back body start to wake up a little. Just taking a few breaths here, allowing your energy to start to balance out, allowing yourself to ground down a little bit more. Fear is a natural reaction. It's an instinctual reaction to our environment, to certain situations. And no matter how evolved we get, no matter how much we meditate and do yoga, we still have it. I still have it. And so the practice is in being able to acknowledge it, to notice it, and then just to meet it where it's at. So just letting yourself breathe, knowing that there are going to be days where you feel uncomfortable, where you feel fearful. But it's okay, right? Because we have these tools to meet ourselves. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here, just thinking about that, letting your hips ground down, feeling your spine as it lengthens. Inner body filling up, outer body softening. And we'll do 1 more round. Good. And then just come on in, take your right hand down and just stretch your left arm up. Take a big stretch into your side body. Press your left hip down. It's going to want to lift up a little. Press it down as you breathe into your side body. As you stretch a little bit more. Good. And then come on out and then bring that left hand down. Reach your right arm up. Now same thing here. Press your right hip down. Let that energy ground down as you breathe. Good. And then coming on out and take your hands back behind you now. Bring your elbows in. I'll do this from the side a little bit. Just going to press your head back. So I don't want to see a Pez dispenser head here. I just want your ears to come back a little bit. The back of the neck lengthening. And as you press it back, you're going to feel all those muscles up the back of the neck start to lengthen. You'll start to feel the muscles in the front of your neck stretching. If you're having headaches, right, you're not sleeping so well, a lot of times we hold tension here as we hold a little fear. So keep pressing your head back. You can press your shoulders back and breathe. And again, we're not lifting our chin. We're just moving our ears straight back. Your chin is parallel with the floor. Take another deep breath here. Lengthening up through the back of the head, the front of the neck. And then release and move your head a little side to side. That's a really good one to do, you know, after you've been sitting at the computer and you're starting to glaze over. Just kind of checking in, moving your head and your neck. Good. All right, so we're going to come on up to standing. All right, so coming up, and we'll start by just coming forward. So you can bring your hands to your knees and just start to bend your knees here and sit your seat back. So reach your booty back, lift your chest, and we're going to do a little bit of cat and cow here. So we're going to inhale and drop the belly, arch the back, and then exhale and round. And you could do this one seated, but I like this one because it starts to fire up the legs a little bit. So inhaling and exhaling. Really feeling that movement from your low back, from your spine, all the way up through the chest. Let's do 3 more here. Your legs are active. Your belly is drawing in. One of the best ways that we can move away from fear is by being loving to ourselves, loving to our body, bringing in movement, bringing in breath. Good. All right, now keep those knees bent. And from here, what we'll do is we're going to bend the knees and then lift the hips straight up to the ceiling to straighten your legs. Now, if you can touch the floor, you have some yoga blocks, you can do that as well. But here it's fine to have your hands on your knees, feeling the back of your legs reaching up, bending and straightening. Let's do 3 more like that. Perfect. And then keeping a slight bend in your knees, you can grab onto your elbows now and just start to bow forward. So as you're doing that, you're going to feel the back of your legs stretching, the low back. Now, if it starts to hurt your low back, just bend your knees a little bit more. You can let your head drop down and then just rock a little side to side. Create a little space there. Breathe into your back body. So you're breathing into the back of the waistline, the back of the kidneys. Just letting yourself rock side to side. Let's do 2 more deep breaths in this one. So just inhaling and exhaling. You can let your head drop down a little bit more. 1 more. And then slowly roll all the way back up, and you can come back to your seat. And just kind of notice how nice that feels now. Woke up that back body, feel the front body opening here. And then let's just start to sit tall. You can move your head, roll your shoulders. Think about that practice of being able to love yourself, to move towards love for yourself. I think a lot of times when we're in fear, we beat ourselves up over it. Anybody else? I'm one of those people. Right? So being able to practice more kindness, more love towards ourselves makes a huge difference. All right, we're gonna do a little twist now. Bring your elbows up, shoulder height. You can inhale to the right and then exhale to the left. Keep your feet on the floor, pressing down so you get some resistance. You feel it up through the side body. Keep breathing here. Let yourself feel that engagement, feel that fullness. And we'll do one more time to each side. So to the right with the inhale, to the left with the exhale, and then coming on out and just rolling your shoulders slowly onto your back again. Check back in with your breath. So the nice thing about letting ourselves move and really feel that, it allows us to feel a little more comfortable in our skin. Good morning. I'm seeing everybody's comments coming in. Thank you for commenting. If you're here watching from Lee Health, pop in the comments where you're watching from, like what department you're in. I love to shout you guys out. I know we have our employment center watching. We have some people from the wellness center. Good. And then come back in and do those cat and cows again. So you're gonna inhale and lift your heart. Exhale and round, just inhaling and exhaling. We'll do 2 more rounds just like that. Inhale and exhale. Good. Inhale, shoulders back, chin can lift for this one. Exhale and round it all in. Good. And then as you come back up through center, take a comfortable seat. So that might just be with your feet on the floor. Maybe you're going to sit cross-legged, or maybe you're just going to sit whatever works here. I do like to have something behind the back for this last part, because then you can lean back a little, but not kind of slouch back. So think about that. And then as you sit tall, we're going to take a few moments to just start to turn within, because another practice of moving towards love is letting ourselves get more comfortable with what we have, with that turning in process. So as you close your eyes here or soften your eyes, just take a moment to sit up tall and to notice how you feel, especially opposed to how you may have felt this morning when you first sat down. Notice that flow of energy in your body. Hopefully it's not just that anxious upward energy. Hopefully you can start to notice that there's some rooting down as well as some lifting up, finding that balance. We allow our intention to lie around that idea of finding balance. Balance in our inhale and our exhale. Balance in what we give and also what we receive. And that means we have to receive a little. Balance in how we can start to soften into our jaw and our shoulders and our hips and still remain present, still remain active. If you want, you can take one of your hands to your belly and just start to feel your belly filling up as you inhale and emptying back out as you exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. Remembering that you have the opportunity to move towards love, towards self-care, towards taking care of yourself. I know it's kind of a little bit of a cliche, but we can't pour from an empty cup. So we do need to take that time to refill. And the refill process doesn't need to be super crazy. It can simply be a few minutes just breathing, just feeling. we make space for ourselves, it allows more space for others. It allows us to be more authentic, more true to our own hearts. And these are all important things, especially when we are people that are giving care to others selflessly. For all the moms and dads that are watching, right? All those things, we're constantly in that state of giving. We need to find that balance of receiving as well. Let's take another deep breath here. Big inhale. Big exhale. Just feeling yourself soften into what you have, into who you are. And then you can very slowly start to blink your eyes open. If you want, you can bring a little bit of movement to your fingers and to your toes. Interlace your hands and just stretch them out in front. Just rock a little side to side. And then even bring the arms up and just go over to the right and the left. Just stretching, feeling that embodiment, being in your body. All right. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this helps start your day in a positive way. Remember, when you start to feel that energy really pulling up, take a few moments to breathe and bring the energy back down. We don't need to be rooting down, 24/7, but when you start to feel that, and we all know that feeling, right? You're like, ugh. When you start to feel that energy, give yourself a couple breaths. See if it makes a difference. All right. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Nicole Traum. This has been our Healthcare Hero Self-Care Moment. And I just take the moment at the end. We always do this. I bow to you, to your courageousness. Namaste. We'll be back tomorrow at 6:40. Come watch or watch the replay. Thanks. Bye.